Again, it's been a while, which wasn't intentional, but it is what it is. I kind of realized that it had been 3 weeks again, so I really felt like I needed to record another video because I didn't mean to go that long again without uploading. Uh, so it has been kind of eventful the past few weeks. So I don't have a lack of anything to talk about. I'm just kind of unfortunately feeling pretty tired because I just got home from work. And work itself has kind of felt like it's been sucking the life out of me, which I'm sure people can relate to. So, anyway, about 3 weeks ago, I was having this like weird pain in my thigh one night when I went to bed, and I still had it the next morning when I woke up. So, that was kind of concerning to me because I thought that it was just from me like sitting funny or having pulled a muscle or something. And it had persisted through the whole night and also through most or all of the day. I can't remember exactly, but it was there for a while and it was concerning me about like deep vein thrombosis. So, sorry. I also had a cough too around that time. Pretty bad cough actually because I was getting coughed on a lot at work because I work at a school. So, yeah, I went from having that pain in my thigh for that day to it just being gone the next day. And I was like, okay, I guess it really was just, like I pulled a muscle or something and it is gone now. So, I go into the weekend after finishing up that week and I'm coughing like crazy. I'm like, oh boy, I must, be sick because I keep getting coughed on at work, even though, I tell them to cover their coughs. So, sorry. I cough so much that I start to have pain in my chest to the point to where it hurts to breathe and it hurts to cough, of course, and it even got to the point to where it hurted to talk at times. So I go to the doctor and they order a chest X-ray. I also talked to them about my concern with the chest pain being related to the pain in my thigh because, like, the night before my doctor's appointment, I kind of had like a moment where I connected those two and was like, wait a second, what if this is related to that and it's like a pulmonary embolism? So I talked to my doctor about that when I went there and they ordered the chest x ray and I got the chest x-ray the next day and that came back totally normal. So that made me even more concerned because at that point, it's kind of at least somewhat ruling out pneumonia and it also ruled out what he mentioned he'd considered too, which was like a partially collapsed lung. So it was neither of those. My lungs looked totally normal on the x-ray, so I got really freaked out and that day it had, started to feel worse. So I ended up calling the doctor's office back, to ask them what they thought because, my results just got posted online. Nobody really talked to me about them. And because the chest pain was worse that day, I was told to go to emergency. So, yay, it's time to go to emergency for the second time in only a few months. Wasn't happy about that, didn't want to go. And there was like a little bit of conflict at home about me going to, because, sorry, I wanted somebody to go with me, and nobody really wanted to go with me. So my brother ended up taking me and dropping me off there. And I get in there, and it's absolutely packed. And I wait in quite a long line to get checked in. And when I do get checked in, they take me and do an EKG, and that turned out to be normal. So that was like a little bit of relief. But then they send me back to the waiting room, and because it's so packed, I don't have anywhere to sit. And personally, I don't really feel comfortable sitting next to strangers, let alone strangers in a hospital, when I am both worried about being sick myself still, regardless of how the doctor's appointment went, and worried about other people being sick. So I didn't want to sit next to anybody, even if I could, but I couldn't. So I stood for 2 hours and I still hadn't been seen. And at that point, like, I was really not wanting to be there, even more than I didn't want to be there already, which was quite a bit, or even a lot, I would say. I really, I mean, I don't think anybody likes going to the emergency room, but I really, really, really don't like going to the emergency room because I don't like going out in the first place. So being there feels like I'm trapped, especially with like the indefinite, amount of time that things could take. So I eventually decide that I don't want to be there. And I mean, I'm still afraid about leaving, but I'm also afraid about staying and having nothing wrong with me because when I went over the summer, because I thought that, I had an impacted bowel because I had, basically all the symptoms for it. I won't get into too much detail because I made a video about that. Uh, but anyway, I didn't want to repeat of that, especially with being there longer because the place was packed. So I went and, I asked the people who checked me in if it was okay for me to leave. And they said that it was. And, I said, I'm kind of afraid to leave, but I'm going to, if that's okay. And they gave me the go ahead. So I left and I slept for like 11 or 12 hours after I got home. And I felt pretty much okay the next day, strangely. Still had a cough, but otherwise, most of the pain was gone. And I was kind of back to normal, but I was still like afraid because, the how the pain in my thigh had just disappeared suddenly. So I didn't completely think I was in the clear yet. I was still afraid each passing day. And I think on Monday or Tuesday, uh, which was like a few days after that or so, I was having a pain in my neck and upper back area on the right side, which is the same side I was having the pain in my chest. So I'm freaked out again. I'm also like feeling like dizzy or disoriented, I guess. So at this point, I'm like, am I like having like a stroke or something? Am I on the verge of having a stroke, at least? Because, all of that is kind of connected to deep vein thrombosis and blood clots. And I'm on, oral estradiol, which increases my risk of that. And I had been trying supplements to help with my digestive issues, which also could increase the risk of that. And yeah, that was scary. So I'm like right back there again where I'm thinking I might need to go to emergency. But I kind of just toughed it out after reading more about strokes and stuff. And I just decided to, wait and see because it seemed like I wasn't at a point to where my life was in danger because I wasn't collapsing or, going completely numb on one side of my body, um, or basically any of the other things. Uh, so I saw the doctor again the next day because I had scheduled an appointment the previous week after I left the emergency room. I'd, scheduled another appointment the next day. And they didn't think there was anything wrong with me. And that was like, I was still having the weird feeling in my neck that day. And eventually that just went away and I was totally fine. So that was like the last of the problems that I had had. But that entire like week was like a nightmare for me because I thought I was going to just die at any moment. Um, and I was freaking out, feeling like I had to go to the emergency room. And I feel like my story probably doesn't really do it justice, but the anxiety from that was on like another level. And I feel like anxiety is like no joke. I don't know what was wrong with me exactly. Maybe I was just sick. Maybe that was like some weird virus I caught from work because I had been told that pneumonia was going around, but it seemed like more than pneumonia to me, especially because I wasn't running a fever. And all I really had was the cough and like a little bit of nasal drip down like the back of my throat, like with some mucus in my throat, I guess, that I couldn't cough up because coughing was so painful. Um, so it was just kind of perpetually there. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just grateful that I got through it and that I didn't have to stay at the emergency room and that it seems like there's nothing wrong with me now. I had even contacted my endocrinologist and had her switch me off of the oral estradiol to just being completely on patches. So I'm not taking pills anymore. I'm only on patches because there's way less of a risk for blood clots from that. So I just wanted the peace of mind, and that helps quite a bit. Um, Otherwise, I think that my Thanksgiving break was pretty nice. Had a very nice time at my grandmother's with the rest of my family, having a Thanksgiving dinner and playing, uh, like tabletop games afterward or board games, whatever you want to call them. That was pretty nice. I'm grateful for that. We had a nice dinner, and they were kind enough to make things, at least some things that I could eat. So that was nice too. Uh, and I had, sorry, I had a nice time outside of that too on my days off, aside from the days where I had to do things that I didn't really want to do, which thankfully wasn't all of them, but just like appointments and things. I don't really like going places. Happened to like go to the store too. I want to say like the day before Thanksgiving to get prescriptions and stuff. Uh, don't like going out. Don't like being around people because of my anxiety. It's still hard for me, even with my skin being a lot better than it was. And my hair's gotten better too, honestly. Though, I mean, not my hairline as much as I would like. I guess it is better, but it's not as much better as I would like for it to be. I still feel like I need to do something else like minoxidil or a hair transplant, which I can't. I don't have the money for a hair transplant, unfortunately. And I tried minoxidil once and I kind of freaked out about having side effects from it. So, yeah, there's more anxiety fun, which is probably what I'm going to name this video about. Yeah, anxiety is no joke. Um, Otherwise, yeah, nice Thanksgiving break. I know I said that already. I had a second Thanksgiving dinner that my mom made on Saturday that was also very nice. And then it was back to work for this week, which has been hard, honestly. I still have a hard time with that, just from one, not liking to go anywhere, and two, uh, it just being stressful to begin with, and three, like, it feels like I have way less time again. And I was kind of like starting to get back into like doing like the kinds of art sort of things that I like to do and wanting to like learn 3D modeling and stuff. And now that I'm back to work, it feels like I don't have time for it because of how much time it takes to get ready, how much time I spend at work, even though I don't work a full 8 hours a day like most people do, which I honestly don't know how I would do that with my stomach issues and stuff, and just how high maintenance it feels like just making myself presentable is. Uh, Yeah, like I mean, it takes me like 4 hours to get ready in the morning, so I get up 4 hours before I have to be in, and I spend pretty much every moment of it getting ready to go to work, and I still just barely make it there on time. Uh, and work itself has just been absolutely exhausting. The kids are sweet, and I love and care about everybody that I work with, but I would definitely do something else if I had the choice and it was, good for me. Um, Work has been better for me this year, though, at least in the sense that they are taking good care of me, and I actually have some benefits this year instead of just getting paid minimum wage. And I did have a very small pay increase of 50 cents an hour, so that's pretty nice, and I am grateful for it, uh, including like paid sick days and stuff, which was helpful when I was sick last week. So I don't want to like make it sound like it's all bad, and I do work with some really nice people too, which I've had nice things to say about in previous videos. I'm very grateful for the people I work with. I'm even grateful for the kids, even though they stress me out and it's not exactly the kind of environment I'd like to be in. They are very sweet and they, show me a lot of love sometimes, including missing me when I wasn't there. So I'm grateful for that too. Um, Anyways, this has gone on for way longer than my videos usually do, so I'll try to wrap things up. Uh, Saturday, I go for my 11th laser appointment, which I'm really nervous about, especially because of having to stop my skincare stuff and worrying about having my skin break out, which really has a negative effect on my mental health, majorly. So kind of hoping that it isn't a bad breakout if there is one, or that I don't have one at all because of just the things that I've been trying to do to manage it. Hopefully, that's gonna work out nicely. Otherwise, I really appreciate anybody who watches this, and I hope you've been well, and I hope you continue to be well. And I guess I will see you next time, which hopefully is sooner than it was for this one. Take care.